Hi there, namaste, and welcome back to another Spiritualistik Pick a Card reading. Thank you so much for being here today. Today I'm channeling a message to you from passed on loved ones. So please take a deep breath, drawing the energy up your spine, creating a clear and open channel. And as you exhale, allow yourself to come into clear knowing which group or groups has your message in it for you today. We have group number 1 on the left with Living in Truth. Group number 2 in the center with Listening to Animal Guides. And group number 3 on the right with Change of Perspective. As always, the timestamps to your readings are listed below in the description box, as well as all the rest of my personal information. I do want to mention that I am running a huge sale on my store right now on Etsy at Spiritualistik, linked in the description box. So now is a wonderful time to book personal readings for now or in the future, or a wonderful time to pick up on some crystals in order to help you set your intentions and energetically attune your life. As always, it would mean the world to me if you liked this video, dropped a comment, and subscribed to my channel. Hit the notification bell so you know next time I post. And if you're interested in more exclusive content from me, I do have my Inner Circle channel here on YouTube, where I post every Wednesday, my Patreon channel, where I post every single Thursday, and my TikTok subscriber page, where I post collectives a few times a week, and I go live on there as well. So you can have a chance to win a mini reading. We can talk about different spiritual concepts, we can answer questions, do guided meditations, and so much like this. It's very fun. I've really enjoyed connecting with you all in this way. So as always, thank you for being here. I love you and I'm grateful for you, and I will see you at your reading. Namaste. Hi there, Group 1. Namaste and welcome to your reading. Today, I'm channeling a message to you from a passed on loved one, and you selected the first group with the Living in Truth card. Group number 1. This person coming through today, first and foremost, it feels as though they're very protective over you. And it's interesting, they're protective over you and they want to remind you, you are not an object. You are not a possession to be coveted or anything like this. They also want to come through right away with the Living in Truth element and remind you not just to be authentic to yourself, but remind you that it's your life. You make 100% of the decisions in your life. Now, you might have a tendency to people please. You might have people around you who maybe want to control the actions that you take, or are just really selfish, maybe with your time or your energy. Maybe they see your full light, but they choose to pretend like they don't, or they choose to try to dim it, or they choose to try to possess it. And this passed on loved one of yours wants to come through and tell you it's going to be okay, and to surround yourself with higher quality people. You have spent time alone. You have healed all of this, and you know what it takes to win. You know what it takes to grow and succeed. However, you are not a workhorse, and you deserve to be treated better. Then I'm being shown a milk cow. So, group number 1, we'll get into the tarot and pick out a message from this passed on loved one for you. I'm hearing the song Beautiful You Are by Ruby Amanfu, and they want to remind you that you are more and more beautiful every single day, inside and out, and you also deserve for this to be seen and appreciated, with enough space for that to end up, with enough space for that to grow, with enough space for that to thrive. If you are a rose and you are kept in a container without oxygen, without planting your roots, without water, eventually that rose will wither. You're not an object to be coveted, desired, or possessed. Let's see messages from this passed on loved one. This person might have been spiritual or religious, or they might acknowledge that you are. This person wants you to be a little more ferocious in your life. You're a very gentle soul by nature, and that is a good thing. And that gentleness deserves to be loud. Not in raising your voice, not in losing that gentleness, but you deserve to take up space. You deserve to commit yourself to having a life that is not only built upon your own decisions and no one else's, but also one that is fair and just to you. This passed on loved one wants to show you some sort of family unit or family gathering or family home. Maybe this is something that you've heard of, that they existed in. Maybe it's something that you saw. Maybe it's something that you see for yourself in the future, but they're drawing you to some sort of familiar family unit that is like a community. It's a sense of community. It might be a place with an open door policy. It might be a farm. It might be a place where all of the aunties and uncles bring their children together and it's like it takes a village kind of vibe, but there's something like this. And they want you to know that you deserve to have something like this too, in a way where people respect and honor the way that you see the world and the way that you are, and also at least in some way agree with it or see the world in a similar perspective to you. And even if that's not the case, you deserve for your decisions to be intended and intentionally brought forward by the people around you as well. I'm being shown something where maybe you are around people who constantly undermine your decisions. You decide, maybe, hey, my children cannot eat this. I'm raising my children in this particular way. And maybe the person watching your children will say, oh, okay, that's cool, that's fine. And then they will immediately undermine your decision. And you know that you're heard and ignored and disrespected. And so you either feel like you are not heard or you feel like you're disrespected. It can be something like, this is a boundary. And they say, okay, I see it, I understand it. And then as soon as you turn away, your decision is undermined. To the point where it might even be that in some situations, you are experiencing people, places, situations that to your face are trying to negate your reality. You're looking at a blue sky. The sky's always been blue. It's always going to be blue. You're looking at a color swatch that says the color blue. And someone's looking at it, telling you that it's purple, telling you that it's green, telling you that it's yellow. And it's not. It's not sunrise or sunset. I'm hearing a phrase someone recently said to me that was an interesting perspective, but also just immature. And it was, well, you might think something's undebatable because you have facts to back it up and because it's scientifically proven, but everything is debatable because what if I just want to debate with you? Like, I could be wrong, but it's still debatable. It's kind of that energy where there's a fact and there's an opinion and then they hold the same exact weight. And in a compassionate, emotionally based space, okay, sure. However, 2 + 2 = 4. And you can try to yell at me and tell me that it's 5, but at the end of the day, 2 + 2 is 4. And so, whether that is because it is mathematical, or because it is scientific, or because you know it to be true, even if it is a decision that you've made, I'm choosing to wear a pink shirt today, that's not wrong. If it's a decision that you've made, I'm going to eat this, or I'm not going to eat this. My children are going to be raised in this particular way. I'm using this approach to handle my life. These are my boundaries that I'm setting. That deserves to be not only seen, not only heard, and respected as authority for your life. You have authority over your life. You're not telling them what to do. And they sure as heck do not have the authority to project theirs onto you either. This is a reminder that love is not painful. Love does not hurt. Love is not hard. That does not mean that relationships cannot be difficult. That does not mean that your journey in opening up and expanding into giving or receiving love might not be difficult. But love, in its own nature, is easy, it is enlightening, it is pure, and it feels good. Anything other than that is not love. One could argue that everything is love. One could also argue that anything that doesn't feel like the positive aspects of love that were mentioned before is the journey into finding it, giving or receiving it, or coexisting within a space of it. And so this passed on loved one of yours, wants you to know that you can make changes in your own life. You can wake up tomorrow and look differently, act differently, but it's your decision to make. It's no one else's decision to make. And stick to your guns, stick to your boundaries. I'm being shown a situation where maybe it's like a love bombing situation, or it's where they are on their best behavior in order to get you back into their life, behaving the way that you want to reestablish that sense of normalcy, and then they're right back at it. And then you have the same old conversation, and then it's, why can't you just leave me alone? Well, why don't you just respect my boundaries? It's giving reactive abuse. And it might not be that heavy. It might be heavier than that, but it's giving someone disrespects you. And you communicate that. And they know that they're doing it, but then it's your fault for caring and not their fault for their behavior, causing you to need to heal and grow in ways that they're not. It's not the people that need therapy going to therapy. You end up going to therapy because they refuse to. This passed on loved one of yours has seen this cycle for a very long time. And in some way, they're insinuating that they were maybe raised or around the people who treat you like this, raised around the first person that treated you like this, or they've witnessed you get raised in an environment like this. They've seen it in action, and they want you to know that you deserve grace and that it exists. They found it. They lived in it. This is also giving like matriarchal energy outside of gender, okay, but it's matriarchal. That in and of itself is highly rebellious to our society. But it's also the natural balance. It's the natural order of things for things to come into balance because it is rebellious with our current society. This energy feels as though they were given respect as a birthright because they were taught that that's how things go. Because it is. It's basic human decency. However, this person also wants you to know that you don't need to prove yourself worthy of respect. You don't need to prove yourself worthy of anything in this life. And even if you did, which you don't, you have more than proven it. Thousands of times over. Millions of times over. This person wants you to know that they are around you, watching you. They're on your spirit team. And that if they could, I'm hearing they would kick someone in the shin for you, or they would like give someone a little hiccup. Like they would in some way maneuver something, or at least set the intention to maneuver something that would be showing someone that, hey, they need to kind of get their stuff together. But you might be around people who have a hard time taking a clue. And then when they do take the hint, they pretend that they are dumb. It's kind of giving weaponized incompetence. It's giving emotional immaturity. It's giving reactive abuse. It's giving lack of basic human decency and respect. It's giving discrimination. It's giving control issues, power struggles, hierarchy, all things that are unnatural and disrespectful in this world. You do not function by the system of those around you. And this person wants you to know that you have spiritual gifts for a reason, and they shouldn't need to be used as protection mechanisms for you, as coping mechanisms for you, as ways for you to make sure that you are going to be safe or cared for or reaching your basic mental, emotional, and even biological needs. You shouldn't be needing to utilize your spiritual gifts in order to see if you're going to get to eat this week, in order to get to see if you're going to be respected this week, in order to get to see if that person is going to be disrespectful towards you or not. You shouldn't need to use your spiritual gifts in order to consistently monitor the people around you to make sure that you are safe, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. That goes without saying. And this is not saying that it is your fault for being in that position or using your gifts this way. But this passed on loved one of yours also wants to tell you that they regret not seeing it while they were still here. Or they regret not doing something about the situation when they had the chance. This might be someone who raised somebody who treats you this way. This might be somebody who, again, watched you get raised this way or ended up around someone who treated you this way. It's something like this. This is someone who feels as though there's something more that they could have done in order to prevent you from even needing to deal with this mess in the first place. And they want to say, I'm sorry, but I didn't know. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I didn't realize. They didn't realize how what they received without needing to ask for it, they didn't understand that anyone could ever really need to ask for it. For example, when parents have children, parents raise the children. For example, when someone says they love someone, they treat them with love. For example, when there's food on the table, all of the people in the house have seats at the table. Things that are supposed to be a given. This person wishes that there was something that they could have done. But it's also despicable that this idea would even need to be considered in the first place. And it's also despicable that you needed to walk through it and that you find yourself in patterns that you need to break, not because they're your patterns, but because they were projected upon you. This person wants you to know that they can see from outside of your current perspective, from beyond. And they see that people around you are not trustworthy. They are pretending to be incompetent. They are weaponizing their incompetence. They know what they're doing wrong. They're just throwing temper tantrums so that you have to emotionally monitor them. They know that they're ignoring your emotions, but if they make it about them, then they don't have to take responsibility. They are not dumb. They are mean. They are not mentally or emotionally uneducated. They are manipulative or even abusive. This passed on loved one of yours wants you to stop cutting other people so much slack and keeping yourself on such a tightrope. It is your life. You make 100% of the decisions. And especially the people who come to you looking for truth and you tell them the truth, and it's not what they've manipulated other people into going along with in their reality. These people know that they came to you for the truth. They were looking to pick a fight. Or they were looking to see if they could get you to sacrifice your reality in order to get you to subscribe to theirs. It wasn't on accident. They know they're not doing the work. They know what they're doing. They are not trustworthy. They are not of, they're not of God. My personal belief system, Colleen, hi, the channeler here, I think that everything is source incarnate. This passed on loved one of yours is saying that this is not of God. These people are not of God. So that, I wanted to communicate that difference there. That's what this passed on loved one of yours is saying. And when it comes to your love, your passion to make the world a better place, to love the people around you, to do the most that you can for the people around you, to be the best that you can, to give things that you don't have to give, so that people can receive things that they have way too much of and wouldn't even know where to put, wouldn't know what to do with it. Your energy deserves to be directed both towards yourself and in ways where it can be respected, appreciated, sustained, amplified, expanded. You continue to propagate your own plant, to give it to people who will dry it out in the sun and eventually throw it away. And they don't even know which one is the clipping that you gave them. However, the people around you, where it seems that it is the hardest to get access to them, it is for this very reason. Because these are the people who grew their plants from a seed. These are the people where if you were to give them a little clipping of your own plant, not only would they plant it so that it grows and multiplies, but they would use that in order to feed other gardens as well, to feed other mouths as well. They would speak kindly to that plant you gave them every single day. They would make sure that it lives longer than any plant. They would genuinely love it. And that is why their energy is not cheap. And that is why yours shouldn't be either. This passed on loved one of yours, they're saying, I would want to teach you a lesson in boundaries, but you already know. You already know what they are. You already know how to set them. And it's not the lesson in boundaries here. It is you choosing to be a trusting person. You don't choose to be an untrustworthy person. You haven't manifested this in a way that makes you give up hope in the world. You continue to see the good in people. You haven't decided that things are bad. You haven't decided not to trust anyone anymore. You haven't made that, because that's not living in your truth. And above all, you choose truth. which is integrity. So this person wants you to get up, brush yourself off, and walk in the direction that is authentic to you, because you make 100% of the decisions in your life. That is why you have been called, spiritually, mentally even, to make decisions on your own without even considering the impact of other people. And it is not out of lack of empathy or lack of compassion. It is because the people who you are considering are knowingly lacking empathy and compassion. And when you are around people who are genuinely kind and empathetic towards you and compassionate towards you, not because they're trying to get you to stay, not because they're trying to see the least that you can take from them, not because they're trying to convince you to let them manipulate you, but genuinely because you see your heart in them. That is when you can, if you want, consider other people moving forward. You always consider everyone. You want what's best for everyone involved. You want everyone to be comfortable, sometimes even at your own expense. You were raised this way, not to consider yourself, to put yourself last, to be so humble that you don't exist. You might have been raised by parents who think that children's entire job is to just be quiet and obey. Or people have children so that they can help raise the other children, or eventually help out around the house, or eventually be sold to a family, whether it's with a dowry or by getting them to work really young. You are not a business plan. You are not property. You are not an object. You deserve to make 100% of the decisions in your life. And if that bothers anybody around you, this person wants you to tell them to go F off. And mean it. They're saying it is okay to brush off those middle fingers. Because that might be the most radical act of unconditional love that you can possibly take today. You deserve so much better, and it is waiting for you to allow it in. But because this energy is like you, because it is better, it is high quality, just like you, unlike you, it wouldn't touch the energies that are trying to glom onto you with a 10-foot pole. And when you feel the same, and you take those steps, you will find so much better coming in for you. This person wants to tell you that they are sorry that they didn't see the warning signs. They are sorry that they thought certain people would grow. This person is sorry that they listened to maybe the adults instead of the children. And this person wants you to know that they are sorry that they're not there to give some people a good talking to or even a smack. They would like to tell you not to behave that way, but that if they were here or still here, they certainly would behave that way on your behalf. Because that is what you deserve. You to stand in your integrity and your peace and your compassion and your empathy and your unconditional love and grace and integrity without budging off of that. And other people who maybe have different ideas of what they want to do or how they want to move in the world, to be out there going to bat for you. Because you deserve that, and it's something you never got. And this person sure as heck would give anything just to stand up for you in one way. They do what they can from beyond. They want you to know that it's okay to keep putting one foot in front of the other, and it's okay if some days you are not okay. You deserve to be doing amazingly. You do not deserve for all of your work to go down the drain. You do not deserve to be an object or property or obedient. You deserve to shine, to thrive, to make your own decisions because it is your life and no one else's. You are a living, breathing human being. You are a soul having a human experience. Unempathetic, uneducated, unkind people do not get to even consider making a decision for you or denying your reality. And this person sure as heck would not stand for the way that you are and have been treated. And neither should you. Group number 1, this was your channeled message from your passed on loved one. They seem quite fiery, and I hope that you are able to navigate everything in a way that honors you in every way. Group number 1, I love you and I'm grateful for you. Please like this video and drop a comment, as it helps me out so very much. If you wouldn't mind subscribing to my channel, maybe even hitting the notification bell, maybe even hopping on to TikTok, my Inner Circle channel, or my Patreon, that would be the best way to support me, and I appreciate it so much. I do have personal readings open. I do channeling as well as tarot, astrology, astrocartography, and Reiki. You can find all of that on my spiritual store on Etsy at Spiritualistik, as well as all of the decks used in today's reading, my published books, journals, crystals that I've wrapped, and so much more. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. I love you, I'm grateful for you, and I will see you next time. Namaste. Hi there, Group 2. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today I'm channeling a message to you from a passed on loved one, and you selected the second group with the Listening to Animal Guides card. Group number 2. This person wants to remind you, do your best not to let anybody else ruin your day or spoil a good thing. It is important that you feel heard, understood, and fully expressed in this world. And also, to take a look at the animals that are around you at this point in time. It might be an animal that you have in your home, a part of your family. It might be an animal that is that of a neighbor's or a friend's. It might be the animals in nature around you. But take a look at the unconditional love, the teamwork, the support, the community, and see how things such as rest are not villainized. See how community is not dismantled. See how governmental rules are not established and imposed. There are no borders. There is no judgment of the attempt to meet biological or mental needs. Also, those in the animal kingdom live by survival of the fittest in a way where the animals around you, if they do not mature, if they do not grow, if they do not learn, they do not survive. They do not keep up with the group. And while it is true that in the animal kingdom, the animals do hold empathy for and support and help the weakest link of a group, the animals around you specifically are not ever going to villainize, weaponize, subjugate, ostracize a weak link. But they each take their own responsibility in ways that is best for themselves and best for their community or group. If a nap is warranted, a nap is warranted. If traveling long distance is warranted, then it is warranted. If change of leadership intermittently is warranted, this will occur. However, unconditional love, desire, and support for all to be healthy, well-fed, well-rested, supported, encouraged, taught, is present. And to bring it a little closer to home, This passed on loved one of yours wants you to look at an animal that is nearest to you. For some of you, it is a symbol. For some of you, it's a literal animal. Whatever it is that they are doing or you recently saw them do, that is what you are being encouraged to do right now. For some of you, it is playing outside. For some of you, it is eating. For some of you, it is resting. For some of you, it is just laying outside in the sunshine, getting fresh air. Or playing with a friend. Touching a tree. Proximity is your sign for this one. This passed on loved one of yours wants you to remember that they've got a heart similarly to yours, but you have better habits than they did. They want to congratulate you on picking up and putting down a burden that they could never put down. They maybe didn't even want to put down. They were loved for their imperfections and their flaws. And so are you. They also want you to know that they are happy and connected with somebody else, wherever they are today. So this might be that someone is reunited with a lover, a friend, a parent, an animal. Let's get into the tarot and see what other messages this person has for you. They want you to know that sometimes it's important that you are around the right community. The people that support your growth and accept your imperfections without making their imperfections your responsibility or yours theirs. Everyone chooses to grow. It is also in everyone's best interest that everyone continues to grow. And everyone takes a different path. This passed on loved one of yours wants to remind you that it is not your job to do work on behalf of others. It is not their job to do work on behalf of you. That doesn't make you or them an unworthy player on the team. But you deserve reciprocity in that area. You deserve space to be imperfect, and those around you should be required to be in some way accountable for their own growth. If a bird, as a baby, refuses to fly from a tree, then it will never leave the nest, and it will not survive. And it will not become the role of its siblings to never spread their own wings and see the world and travel in a flock because the one bird refuses to learn how to fly. This passed on loved one also wants to remind you that I'm hearing the song I'm Like a Bird. I'm seeing birds. This person might visit you with feathers or birds, or there might be like a specific winged animal that this person comes around. Like when you see it, you think of this person, or it's a sign from them or something like this. Maybe they really loved a particular, bird, dragonfly, something like this. But they also want to remind you that baby birds, first, when they learn how to fly, they have to leave the nest in order to learn how to fly, which means that when they jump, they don't know how to fly. And they might fall a couple of times and then pick it up. They're going to learn eventually, and then they practice and their wings get stronger. But those who feel like they need to be able to fly before they even try, those are the ones that will either not make it, or they just won't make it as long and will inevitably stunt the growth of those in their community. Do not get your growth stunted because of those around you. And do not have shame about your biological needs. If you need to go outside, if you need to see your friends, if you need to take a nap, if you need to cry, if you need to take a day off, if you need to eat your fill because your body requires nutrients and energy and food. Never feel bad about meeting your biological requirements or your mental requirements, regardless of who or what is around you. Life is hard, and that doesn't mean that you deserve extra hardship in your life. We all share a burden, and that burden should be carried equally to everyone's capacity and ability. Now, it's not a perfect world. They want you to know that, no, it's not a perfect world, but it does get better when you learn that, yes, it is beautiful that we can share burdens, and it is also beautiful when one realizes they don't deserve to carry more of a burden than anybody else. It takes a village, and you might not have had that. There's something about people around you being really, really coddled, and you not having that village energy. So let's get into the tarot. There was a lot of channeling coming through here, which lets me know this person might show up in your dreams. They might be really strongly on your spirit team. You might connect with them or channel them often, or if you feel the energy, I'm hearing do not take reversals, which lets me know I'm going to flip this right over now. I only hear that on some of my readings, but when I do, I always listen. But this lets me know that the energy with this person, this is someone who sends you messages a lot. So they're already quite strongly in your spiritual field in some way. So you see a lot of signs from them. They're really strongly protecting you. You have dreams about them. Maybe you talk about them a lot. You connect with them. Meditation, prayer, mediumship. Although this person might be a little bit, it might be a bit chatty, but in like a positive way. So, first and foremost, this person wants you to know that you have learned and grown so much, and that you are very independent. You can do and become anything that you want to do and become in this world, regardless of what you see around you. You don't need to fly before you leave the nest, and just because somebody else has that delusion does not mean that you need to circle that nest because somebody else chooses to stay down. You are as strong as an army because you are around people who feel they need to fly before they even try leaving the nest. And that is how you learn. But because you are used to being part of a system where you take more than your fair share of responsibility, your strength is that of an army. I'm hearing the phrase, time is money. This person might not be very materialistic. They might not have needed much in their life, or they might have been very naturally abundant. But abundance is an energy. And they do want you to know that they are watching over you. Page of Swords with the Judgment. They are watching over you. And Nine of Pentacles, you are very special to this person. This person might, if you were to logistically think it out, this person might have a lot of people that they should, would, could be watching over. They might feel a little bit like a busy bee. But you are very special to this person. They never leave your side. Because you've had to do something all on your own. Maybe you built something all on your own. Maybe you grew up all alone. Maybe you didn't have the support of friends or family or community. Maybe you did, but there's this energy of forced independence. Needing to learn how to walk without examples of how to do so. Not having the support of people when you are trying to follow your dreams or do what it is that you want. And they also want to send, I'm getting a glimmer into your life. A happy little moment. It might be a little bigger than a sign and a little less than a miracle. They're saying don't expect miracles, but they do want to send you a gift from beyond that will help bring the magic and spark back into your life. You are someone whose spark cannot be taken away from them. But you also might be around people who have no problem ruining other people's days. And you might be the kind of person who thinks no one else can ruin my day. No one else can control how I feel. No one can make me feel anything but my emotions are my responsibility. You might also be in a situation or used to being in situations where the people around you might continue to give you reasons to have a bad day, or to need a nap, or to need to slow down, or to want to stop. And they might get nothing but support, nothing but coddling, but they complain. And for you, you are optimistic and positive, and your spark can never die. Therefore, it gets challenged, and that is not fair, and that is not right. Maybe you have one of the best days of your life. You wake up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, inspired, motivated, ready to go, and then all of a sudden, someone who sees that immediately, they bring up something negative, and then they start a fight, and then they make something else your problem, and then the whole rest of the day, you just want to sit in bed and cry, and you don't have that energy anymore, that motivation, their ideas, their dreams, the clouds roll in. That doesn't mean the sun goes away, it just means the clouds are there, and they're there right now, and the clouds will go away, but when they do, someone else will work to bring them back in. But your sun never goes away. You deserve better than rain clouds in your life. And this person wants you to know that they emulated an example of something that you can have in this life. Whether it's a healthy relationship, a really cool career, a really positive demeanor and attitude. This person emulated something that you can and will have in this life. And they also want you to know that that does not come about by making excuses. That does not come about by just being cooler with things. That comes about by authentically resonating with yourself and the environments that you are in and the people that you are around and your role in those communities. A happy marriage, a happy friendship, a happy family. It's not measured by the amount of crap that you put up with. The word crap is really standing out to me for some reason. And Coca-Cola as well, or like Pepsi or Sprite, like a soda or a signature drink. But a happy community, a happy village, a happy family, relationship, friendship, it is not warranted by the amount of crap that you can put up with, by the amount of happy you can be in spite of the crap you're dealing with. Rather, it's something that looks at any crap that you have dealt with or could potentially deal with and works to keep it away from you and works to keep you following the sun. Because that's where you deserve. You deserve to follow the sunshine of your life. And the sun rises and it sets, and you deserve to rest. You don't need to overwork. If anything, you deserve to overplay. You don't deserve to over-express, over-explain yourself. You deserve to simply look at someone and they're able to hear your heart. You don't deserve to carry the burden of someone who won't take accountability. Because it's not fair when some people have extra burden and others have none. But it is, in this person's opinion, a positive trait for everyone to share a burden equally. Because that is how a community supports each other. And it's not by unequal distribution of responsibility, accountability, work, labor, emotional maturity, inner work. Rather, it's everybody sharing a burden. The same amount of burden, the same amount of responsibility. And when everybody does that, there's enough time for each individual to honor themselves. There's understanding and compassion and empathy. And it allows your weaknesses to be ameliorated by the strengths of others, and it allows their weaknesses to be ameliorated by the strengths of others, and it highlights everyone else's strengths. And in a community like this, when someone is running around with a match, looking for something to set on fire, that is not a community burden. That is not an asset to the community, to the group, to the family. So, this is kind of a reminder that things don't have to be perfect, but they do deserve to be better. Let's see. This person wants you to know that the worries of life seem a bit far-fetched from where it is that they are. They've had enough time and space, I'm hearing in the ether, or in a certain environment. If you believe in heaven, this person wants to tell you that they're in heaven. Or if this person believed in heaven, they're experiencing whatever that is, no matter how it takes place energetically in the space-time continuum or your belief system. This person just wanted that message to come through. Okay, so again, channeling this person from their perspective, of course. So they want you to know that they're in heaven. They're your guardian angel looking out for you. And that from where they are, the worries of the world seem so far away and so small and so minute. I'm hearing the song So Small by Carrie Underwood, which says, sometimes the mountain you've been climbing, it's just a grain of sand. And again, your value, your worth, and the quality of your connections, relationships, community, it is not determined by the amount of crap that you can take. It's also not determined by what you have. It's not determined by what you can do. It's not determined by your special skills. You are not a flying monkey. You are not a performing monkey. You are not a circus performer, unless that's your literal job, in which case that's very, very cool, and I would love to see you perform, because that was a childhood dream of mine. But in this person's perspective, it is not your job to entertain those who are only bored because they refuse to leave their own nest. This person wants to tell you that you're better off alone at this point in your life. Not isolated, not hyper-independent, but sometimes it's best to find your flock than it is to coddle a bird that won't leave its nest. Because that bird is not broken. You needed to jump out and fly. So did everyone else. It's like if you want to jump off a cliff in a safe, sporty, recreational way. Okay, I live near the ocean, and there are cliffs here, and people cliff dive into the ocean safely, responsibly. Okay, but they're showing me this. It's like if you want to cliff dive, people might be too scared to do it, and they won't do it. That's okay. People might be really excited to do it and not scared, and they just go ahead and dive, and that's okay. But it is not okay to take the excitement away from one person because the other is scared. And it's also not okay to ignore the fear of someone else in lieu of excitement. There can be compromise, there can be middle ground, but at the end of the day, the person that can face their fear can make that choice. Or they can choose to be patient while someone else explores. And the person that wishes to cliff dive, they don't need to try to convince the other person not to be scared so that they don't have to jump by themselves. And they also don't need to repress themselves and shrink themselves and not gain an experience they might never get again. And even if they can get it again, if they just don't want to lose that experience, that's their right to do so as well. They don't need to shrink themselves for the other. That is how healthy community works. But you share the burden. If one person is scared but they want to jump, then you both share the burden. If the other person's excited and the other person doesn't want to jump, you can both share that excitement. But you don't need to do the same behavior. And the behavior of each individual can still be sovereign without impacting the equality of the vibe and responsibility of each one that each one warrants over themselves. One person being afraid doesn't mean that they don't get to be happy for the other person's excitement and cheer them on. And the other person's excitement doesn't mean that the other person's fear shouldn't be there and they should just tell them to get over it. In the same manner, try your best in your imperfect world not to let anybody else ruin your day. I'm hearing the phrase, just because someone else might, I don't ever say this, but, and I'm sorry, I hope YouTube doesn't flag me for this, but they're saying just because somebody else wants to shit where they eat doesn't mean you have to do so. And if they refuse to change that, it doesn't mean you have to hang out and watch them or be brought into it yourself. You deserve to be just as stubborn about your happiness, your excitement, your possibility, your potential, your dreams, your life, as they do about their limited beliefs, about their fears. Fears are so often indulged, and dreams are so little supported. In a healthy community, this is not the case. Look at the animals around you, and the animal closest to you right now, what are they doing? Whether it's close in time or close in space. Are they smiling? Are they wagging their tail? Are they taking a nap? Are they having a snack? Are they exploring the neighborhood? Are they sitting on a roof, singing a song? That is your advice from this person that wants you to know that they love you no matter what you do or don't do. No matter how many rights or how many wrongs you make, they support your rights and they support your wrongs. They also want you to know to take good care of your skin. There's a message about SPF, like wear your SPF. It doesn't have to be chemical sunscreen. It can be a natural ingredient with SPF in it. It can be wearing a hat. It can be going out during the lower UV hours and living your best life and then spending that 1 hour of the day inside. They want you to take care of your skin. This person might have had something like skin cancer or melanoma. They might have had like really dry skin. Maybe they were tanning in tanning beds or something like this. Or maybe you live in a family where it's really cool to, now this is different depending on your culture and where you are around the world. So you might live in a culture where it's cool to want to tan your skin. You might live in a culture where it's cool to bleach your skin. You might live in a culture where it's weird, like discrimination depending on the color of your skin in either way. And so this person wants to tell you, love your skin, take good care of your skin, and all that goes along with it too. If your skin needs a little extra love, whether that is moisturization, whether that is going to the doctor, whether that is SPF, whether that is being proud of yourself and taking space in this world, honor your skin, love your skin. And that can also be a metaphor too, for love the skin that you are in this world. You are not confined to a nest. You didn't choose that for yourself. Therefore, don't choose it for yourself because someone else chose it for themselves. Love the skin that you're in. You chose to be this individual human being on this planet with your personality and your character. You woke up happy, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, well-rested, motivated, excited to live your life because you're you. Don't let other people try to take that away from you because they don't want to be them. Just because somebody hates themselves does not mean that you don't get to love yourself. You can love them without it impacting the love you have for yourself. And if loving yourself means walking away from somebody, if loving yourself means sharing a burden with people, those are beautiful things. But it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, but you've never actually seen that happen in real life, have you? Because that's a narrative. And maybe, just maybe, the dogs that you have in your house, the dogs you've seen in your neighborhood, well, that's not their natural behavior. The wolves you've seen in the wild, that's not their natural behavior. But it's very easy to be afraid of something that you misunderstand. I'm also hearing lockjaw, which is like an old trending audio from like a while ago. It's also a false misconception about like pit bulls. That's actually biologically inaccurate and impossible and fully inaccurate, but so many people villainize those kinds of animals because of that, and it's not even true. So, there's something like that. That message that's really important here. Do not let your freedom and your joy be impacted by somebody else's delusion, lack of information, or toxic self-indulgence. There are people out there who they're on top of their stuff and they'll share a burden, and you be on top of your stuff and you share a burden, and the other side of sharing a burden, it's sharing excitement, sharing motivation, sharing love, sharing support. And that has nothing to do with the amount of crap that you can take, the amount of crap you should take, the amount of crap other people are telling you should take. At the end of the day, you shouldn't be taking any crap. And if someone wants to shit where they eat, that's fine. But that has nothing to do with you. And you know better. You are not doing anything wrong, but the people around you are, and you are loving them so hard. And there is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, but this person wants to tell you that you deserve to be treated for who you are. You're not a workhorse, you're a wild stallion. I'm hearing the song Wild Horses by the Rolling Stones. You are not a workhorse, you're a wild stallion. And you can be friends with any kind of horse, any kind of animal. But that doesn't mean that you immediately deserve to live an unfree life. Because that is not who you were born to be. Everyone has their own stuff going on, including you. And theirs is not more important than yours. Take up space. Live, dance, sing, laugh, play, learn. And remember, you are such an angel in this world. There are also angels in this world that are here for you. You don't always have to be everybody's angel. And I'm also hearing, and I don't know why, I don't know who this is that's coming through for you, I'm also hearing, don't let anybody call you baby. Or don't put baby in a corner. So, that is what I have for you, group number 2. I hope this helped shed love, light, and clarity for you. This is a channeled message from your passed on loved one. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out so much more than you know. And if you're interested in exclusive content, you can find them here on YouTube, where I post every Wednesday, Patreon, where I post every Thursday, TikTok, where I post collectives several times a week, publicly and on a subscription page. I also go live on there, so we can community build, have a wonderful time over there if you'd like as well. And if you want a personal channeling session, tarot reading, astrology reading, Reiki session, astrocartography as well, you can find that on my Etsy at Spiritualistik. I have a whole spiritual store there, so you can find crystals, candles, merch, tarot and oracle decks, journals, books, etc. All the spiritual stuff to your heart's content. So, I love you. I'm grateful for you. Thank you for being here. Have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm, and I will see you next time. Namaste. Hi there, group 3. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today, I'm channeling a message to you from a passed on loved one, and you selected the third group with the Change of Perspective card. Group number 3, the first message that this person has for you is to remember to look back at your life and see how far you've come. This person is really, really proud of how much you have grown since you last saw them. They want you to know that they are watching over you. They never have, never will forget about you. And that you are very important to them. They want to tell you that you will meet again. That is a message from them to you, in their own words and perhaps in their own belief system as well. They want to remind you that you didn't get to where you are by not being able to change your mind. You didn't get to where you are by listening to the wants, wishes, and needs of those around you. And that doesn't mean you can't take inspiration from the ideas of those around you. This person might have supported your dreams when you were younger, when they were around. This person might have supported dreams of yours you didn't know that you had. This person might have also seen you get pushed into certain things that were not your dreams, but because you ended up in them, you ended up claiming them as such. This person is showing up with a gift for you, actually. They're saying they want to give you something. It seems as though they have given you in the past maybe your first paintbrush, and you're a painter. Maybe your first deck of tarot cards, and you're spiritual now. Maybe this person gave you something that you grew upon, whatever it is. Whether or not you still use that paintbrush, whether or not you still use that first pair of ballet shoes, that first deck of cards. And it is your ability to see things from an outside perspective and continue to have an open mind that is your superpower, and they never want you to forget that. Your ability to have an open mind, in a general sense, is what keeps you out of things like difficulty, disagreements, or arguments with other people, because you see what is actually going on. You don't hold on to your opinion or your viewpoint, and you don't keep your mind open in a way that is confirmation bias, or even in a way that is simply just to the situation. You see what is wholly going on. You see what is fully going on. And they're saying there's a word, that the word holy came out. They're coming through with a message that they would like to, first of all, remind you of a vision or a shared vision that you had with this person around in some way, or pertaining to this person. And they also would like to share a special moment with you in a way that was a tradition to you, to your family, to you and this person, something like this. So this person would love if you sat down with them in spirit and had a tea party, or connected with them in spirit as you go for a walk in the place that you used to love to go together, or that's special to you and this person together. Whatever it is, there's some sort of tradition that they would love to reenact with you and connect in this way, and they want to remind you that time and space does not negate your ability to still share in these moments together. So they would love it if you set the intention. Maybe it is preparing their favorite food, or enacting a family tradition, or a little tradition you had with this person, big or small. But there's something really special here that they would love to share with you. And this change of perspective energy is coming through not in a way that they want you to change your mind. I'm getting this person has been and will continue to be a safe haven, a safe space for you. There's something here about this loved one of yours, maybe in life or even now, representing or physically being where you would turn when you had nowhere else to go. This could be their house you went to if you ever ran away as a kid. This could be that person you asked for advice, you hung out with when no one else's advice was hitting the spot and you genuinely were confused internally. This could be someone who supported your dreams when maybe nobody else did, or they didn't see the vision, or you were maybe even too scared to share those parts of yourself with the world. And so this person wants to remind you, one, that your ability to see beyond is such a gift, and that they are still here for you. The fact that you come into contact with situations and experiences where you see things differently than the people around you, you experience things differently than the people around you, that is also a superpower of yours. And just because they might not be here today, right now, physically, does not mean that they are not omnipresent with you all of the time. Love transcends boundaries of time and space. So let's get into the tarot and let's see what this person wants to tell you. That was quite a long channeled message there. They wish that you could see yourself from their perspective. They're very proud of you. They think that you are amazing. Okay, so there's this energy here when things feel like they are not going your way, when they are out of your control. Remember that the universe is always conspiring in your favor, and that there's always someone in your corner. Now, it seems as though you might be going through a difficult time recently, or you might have a situation in your life where you feel, Ace of Swords, unseen, unheard, misunderstood, or that your reality is less important then let's say the drama of others, or say maybe it's the wounds of others, or maybe it's the whatever it is. There's something here where you feel as though maybe you are trying not to give your power away, or you refuse to give your power away, but this is leading you into a situation where, well, no one gets it. No one sees it. You are being called to just understand something and walk through the world, understanding it, seeing it, knowing it, being about it, and being okay with the fact that it might leave a chip on some other people's shoulders. And also that you are not doing anything wrong. You are not being bad. You just see things clearly. You see things holistically. And so, the consequence of this is that you are not being given that gift from outside of yourself. Pertaining to this situation specifically, and it might be from one specific individual or one specific situation. I'm not too much getting the energy of like, well, there's the Nine of Swords, like you against the world, or like everybody in the world against you. It might just feel that way. It might be like the closest person to you is being very controlling. It might be the thing that you care about the most you can't do anymore. It might be something like this. It might just be something that is not the end of the world, because it's one person or a few people. It's not all people. Or it's one area of life, but not all areas of life. That doesn't negate the impact, because otherwise it wouldn't even be showing up in the reading. Clearly it's something heavy or uncomfortable, and so they're bringing this up today. Your refusal to, let's say, disempower, and your refusal to act out of your own knowledge, your own integrity, your knowing of who you are, what's going on, the people around you. It's giving this energy where this person wants to have like a rather serious conversation with you. They want you to know that it's not your fault if others misunderstand you. They want you to know that if you are a good person and you know yourself and you act through integrity and you are surrounded by other people who do the same, if anyone has a problem with that, you are not the problem. And neither are those around you who are also filled with that integrity. They're alluding to something in the past where maybe you felt like the world was towering down on you, maybe in some way or another, and how sometimes you needed to be the bigger person when it wasn't fair to you. How maybe what was instilled into you, maybe when you were younger, as a child, as a teenager or young adult, or in a particular environment or social setting, you needed to maybe spend time with this person, get your change of perspective, really hone in on yourself. But at the end of the day, you needed to be the bigger person. You needed to be the one to surrender whether or not you were right or wrong, whether or not you were being treated with respect, whether or not it was okay in principle. It's giving some sort of hierarchy here. For example, the kid is made to apologize to the parent when the parent is being disrespectful and or abusive or manipulative or something. It's giving in a job setting, maybe you're being mistreated, but you still have to say you're sorry to the boss, even though it's their fault. It's just that they're in a hierarchical position. They're in an elevated position. And you might have found yourself in this situation in several different settings in life. Friends or family members or social settings, environments, groups of people who might have had more false power over you in some way, exerting it incorrectly. In a way where they're power hungry, and because they have power, they say what they're going to say, they disrespect you the way they're going to disrespect you, and it is your job to regulate yourself, and then it is your job to self-sacrifice, disempower, and move forward with less. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit. And this passed on loved one of yours is saying, no, that's enough. You are old enough, strong enough, wise enough. You have your own foundation now just because this is what you are used to habitually, physically, mentally, energetically. Look around. Look around you. You don't need to take this. You're not going to lose your job if you stand up to that person. And it's not going to affect your life. You're not going to not be fed dinner or need to eat a bar of soap if you stand up for yourself. Look around you. This is the change of perspective, gently, that they're asking you to have. They want to also freshen up the energy a bit, lighten it up a little bit, and remind you that it is okay to have fun with this life. It is okay not to know what's coming. It is okay to be a little bit impulsive. You could definitely afford it in order to be more balanced and fulfilled in your life. You continue to plan, and something that they've seen you have an idea over a longer period of time that replicates something that you did that was undervalued or underappreciated. They want to let you know that this is a wise investment in your future because you've broken this pattern. However, you are looking around and wondering what is going on. You know what's going on internally, but there are so many people who refuse to change their perspective. They refuse to accept the judgment passed on to them. But because you are there, it is easier to eject one person out of a room than it is for everyone in the room to take accountability. And that's not a room you want to be in anyway. And so this person wants to remind you, if it's a job, you'll get another one. If it's a partner, you'll get another one. If it's a friend, you'll find another one. There is nothing in this physical, material world that is not replaceable. And I'm being shown a spinning wheel. So there's something about maybe creating something, fabric or thread, maybe like threading a needle. I'm being shown that phrase, like it is easier for someone to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for someone greedy to enter heaven, or whatever that phrase is. Pardon me for getting it wrong. But I'm also being shown things like crocheting, knitting, weaving. Fabric can be the space-time continuum, like the fabric of time, the fabric of space, things like this. So I just felt called to kind of lay out that stream of energy for signs and clarity for you moving forward. This person also wants you to consider the fact, and they say this gently, well, I'm saying this gently as lovingly as possible, but the message here is that you miss them a lot more than they miss you. Why? Because they see you every day. They see you all the time. They're always there for you. They're on your spirit team. They're watching over you. They're sending you love. Their omnipresent soul, their ethereal being, their consciousness, it exists. It's around you. It's protecting you, loving you, guiding you, sending you hugs and support in ways that sometimes you see and sometimes you don't. So they don't have a reason to miss you. They're always there. They wish they could reach out and maybe touch your face. They wish they could reach out and maybe help you in more tangible physical ways. But they want you to know that they're always there. They also want you to know that you deserve a softer life. You deserve to work in the ways that you want to work on what you want to work on. You deserve to rest in the ways you want to rest on the days you want to rest on. You deserve to play in the ways you want to play, when, how, and where you want to play. And they also want to remind you that not only shouldn't you play by other people's rules, but also that you get to make your own. It's life. They're saying something like you're an adult now. You know, and adults have a lot more responsibility, but don't lose that wonder. If you were ever a child, because I know this isn't the case for everybody, and what I'm about to say, everybody here was a child at some point, but when you were a child, maybe you like to go outside and play. Maybe you were wanting to be an artist, or maybe you had some dreams or whatever it was. I can't wait to be an adult because then I can wear whatever I want. I can't wait to be an adult because then I can have chocolate for breakfast. I can't wait to be an adult because I'm going to make my own rules and I can stay up late and go to bed whenever I want. You're an adult now. Now, I know that that experience is not universal, so I want to hold space for that. But there's a message like that that is coming through. And it might also be something that comes from the opposite perspective too, especially with the change of perspective card. So I really want to honor all sides of that coin. So I'll just mention the two polarities, and it can of course be anything in between those. So the other polarity of this would be, when you're an adult, you're not going to treat people like that. When you're an adult, you're going to fix that system. When you're an adult, you're going to stand up on that stage. You're going to make those people do what is right and just. When you're an adult, you're going to make it change. When you're an adult, you're not going to do that. You're not going to be that. You're whatever it is. When you're an adult, you're not going to drink like that. So, they just want to remind you, you're an adult now. You make your own rules. You can do what you want to do. There's more freedom to that. You have free will. And if there's someone who's pretending to have power over you, whether it be, I'm saying this so gently, I'm sorry, YouTube, whether that be a government, whether that be an institution, whether that be a partner or a parent or a boss, these are figments of illusion. No one owns anything. The closest thing you get to owning in this life is your own body, your mind. This person wants to remind you that love is sacred. They want to remind you that your inner child deserves to come out and play more. So let them. They would love to see you take designated time to hang out with your inner child and just giggle or play or roll around in some mud or splash in a pool or create things or just spend an afternoon staring at bugs outside, whatever it is. And they also want to tell you that when you choose to take the plans that you have for your life, the things you want to build and the things you want to create, when you erase everyone else's opinions about who you are or what you should do or what you're supposed to be or what you could do instead or what they think you should do, ignore it. Who cares? When you build, when you create, when you do, when you ground, when you move in the way that you want to, that you decided, that you were inspired, that is divine. And that is you. Therefore, it is inherently special, unique, one of a kind, and divine. It is miraculous. And it will be successful. This person sees in some way where it is that you're going to end up. And they want to tell you it's okay to take little breaks along the way. You can stop at a rest stop. You can take a breather. You're in it for the long haul. So give yourself what you need along the way. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Also, please, as long as it honors you and serves you, but from their perspective, what they can see, don't you ever give up. You keep going. You create that thing. You build that thing. You share that opinion. You take up space. You shine brightly. This person is also drawing some sort of recognition to the fact that you might not have heard them speak in this way in some way, or for some reason. Perhaps it is that you didn't get to meet this person while they were alive. Perhaps when this person was alive, maybe you were a child, or there was a particular social dynamic that was honored when you were together, like an adult to a child. So they might not be like, oh, ignore what everyone else is saying. They might tell you something like, listen to your parents, even though they might have seen a messed up dynamic. It might have been something like maybe they're a coworker, and so they say, hey, yeah, let's just all follow the rules. It's okay. Because they have to do that too. And so this liberated voice is coming through to give you these messages today. And they also want to tell you as well that there's something about literal angels. I'm being shown like precious moments or angel, like figurines, dolls, paintings, like cherubim specifically are showing up here. Like the physical image on this judgment card, this specific manifestation of a little angel cherubim vibe is coming through. Let's see what other messages this passed on loved one of group number 3 wants to share with them. Okay, so pertaining to something that you want to grow and build, I'm hearing to tell you, don't take the easy way out. Whether that's copying somebody else, whether that is, I'm getting like buying an online course, okay? They're saying don't take the easy way out, okay? This is not something where you can buy someone else to do it for you, whether it's intellectually or physically. Let it be purely from yourself, okay? And when it comes to a decision that you've already made, and you know you made the right one because it came from your intuition and it came from your heart, but whatever it is, a situation that feels like, okay, the problem in this situation will bear no fruit, okay? It is seemingly only that someone else is being difficult because they can. It's kind of giving the energy of somebody who's throwing a fit, like a little child when they throw a temper tantrum to get attention. That's kind of giving the energy that we're getting here, okay? It can also be something where it's, why? Because I said so. Well, I don't want it like that. I have to tell everyone I want an ice cream. Okay. It's simply self-indulgence. You may consider the situation fully obsolete. No fruit will bear from the problem. It's maybe someone just acting like a child or being a child. Maybe, hopefully, physiologically. Okay. But they want to tell you that there's so much love in your heart, and you deserve to receive love that is equal or greater to the love that you give. You will be happy. You deserve to be happy, and stick it out. Whatever that means for you. Whether it's talking about something you want to build, grow, create, whether it's talking about the situation, whatever it is that you feel guided to do internally, they want to tell you to stick it out and see what happens. Now, they're not encouraging you to stick around. I'm hearing like the phrase dusty. Like, they're not encouraging you to stick around in situations that are manipulative. They're not encouraging you to stick around situations where people are constantly working on some sort of power dynamic, power struggle. They're trying to be taller than you. They're trying to be cooler than you. They're trying to be whatever, because these people are just paying attention to you. You don't need to pay attention to them. And also, it is because they admire you in some way. And the way that they respond to that is their own. This person wants to tell you that this is so interesting. You're not going to be losing any more teeth. So maybe, I don't know why that's coming through. It could be individual for a few of you in different manifestations, but they want to tell you you're not going to be losing any more teeth. And they also want to tell you here, two things. It's the Ace of Pentacles with the Devil. This energy, like, I want to read it accurately. It's coming through as, don't feel the need to scrap a good thing. Don't feel tempted to just scrap something and start fresh, to leave something behind. But at the same time, don't try to build on top of something that's already not serving you in a way that feels good for you. So the Devil can be about scrapping something and starting all over, but it's also about proceeding with something that is not a good foundation. There is another answer here. Knight of Wands encourages you to get creative. This person wants you to follow your heart. For example, you might find yourself in a situation where you are encouraged to pause, take a beat, regroup, reorganize, move forward, instead of scrapping the project or the relationship or the opportunity. And at the same time, you are also not being encouraged to just say, well, since I've chosen to move forward with it, let me just push through this. No. They're telling you that you are beautiful and you see things clearly. And for that reason, you're going to understand the way forward. And it's not going to be to push, and it's not going to be to flip over a table or dismantle something holy. Rather, it's going to be to look at the past, at something that happened before, and set a boundary. That will not happen again. And so the way that that looks moving forward is going to be whatever it's going to be. However, that will not happen again. It's kind of giving, I won't be the only one of my coworkers not to get a pay raise. So you do with that information what you will. It's giving, I will not be spoken to in that manner. I don't care what that leads you to do. Do with that information what you will. It's giving less if then. If you speak to me like that, then I won't be around. It's saying I don't get spoken to like that. So if you want to be in my life and not speak to me like that, that's great. If you want to talk to me like that, you're not in my life. It's something like that. It's like a quasi boundary. A boundary is traditionally if then. If you do this, then I will respond like this. So that energy is coming through. If you don't support me, then I will stop bringing that energy around you. So it's like that. So that will not happen again. That lack of support won't happen again. Do with that information what you will. You can show up and you can show up correctly, or you can not show up. But that's what it is. Non-budging energy. This person also wants to tell you that you are so cute. They want to tell you that you've grown up very well. They want to tell you that they can still see the childlike aspects in your face. Like they can still see something childlike or youthful in your face, in your essence, in your aura. And they want to remind you to keep your youthful spirit. You are a very, very wise child and seemingly grew up a bit early. Maybe you matured at a young age. And so you have in some way been able to maintain this clear mind, this pure heart, and also this maturity at the same time. So the message comes back around to let the inner child shine and play. You've maintained the purity, the sovereignty, and the integrity of that youthful spirit of yours. Unleash it into the world. And see how that might actually be the solution to some of your current adult problems. And also see where some of the things in your life might not support you expressing that part of yourself. There's something to learn from each of those dynamics. But there should always be room for your youthful spirit, especially being as pure, educated, intelligent, intuitive, and mature as you are. This person loves you lots, and they want you to know that you hold the key to your future. Nobody else. Absolutely nobody else. Except maybe God, except maybe Source, except maybe the universe. But you are the one that holds the key to your future. Don't drop that key. Don't forget where you put it. You keep it on you, no matter who, what, when, where, why, how walks into your life. That is what you owe yourself. That and a little more fun and a little bit of play. Group number 3, this is your channeled message from your passed on loved one. If you are interested in a personal, I have those on sale right now, so you can find them on Etsy at Spiritualistik, linked in the description box. You'll find there as well my spiritual store, where you can find these decks. I have got 7 tarot and oracle decks. I've got 3 journals that I've made, prompted and unprompted. I have written and published a few books. They're on there too. One on tarot, one on astrology, one is a guided self-exploration journal. I've been wrapping crystals. I'm putting up a bunch of EMF blockers this week as well, so keep an eye out for those. I'm running a 30% sale on all of my crystals and all of my readings right now, and that does involve Reiki as well. So if you'd like channeling, tarot, astrology, astrocartography, Reiki, that is all going to be on sale right now. So now is a great time to book them for now or for later too. You can do that. And as always, I love you. I'm grateful for you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me follow my dreams, and it helps other people find the messages that need them when it's time for them to receive them. If you'd like more content like this, you can subscribe to my Inner Circle channel here, where I post every Wednesday, my Patreon, where I post every Thursday, or my TikTok, where on my subscriber page there, I do collectives several times a week and go live almost every week, and we've been building a fun little community over there, so I'd love to see you over there. As always, I love you. I'm grateful for you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. I'm grateful for you, and I will see you next time. Namaste.